sensory perception, more commonly known as ESP. Rhine and his colleagues also designated the term psi as a generic word covering all of the various manifestations, that is, telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, and psychokinesis, studied by the discipline for which they chose the label parapsychology. The important questions concerning human post-mortem survival did not go away. However, J.B. Rhine himself was disillusioned with seances and the spiritualist mentality. Furthermore, it seemed as if all of the best evidence in support of the survival hypothesis could be explained more parsimoniously as living agent psi. The Journal of Parapsychology was founded in 1937 and has been published continuously since then. In 1957, the Parapsychological Association was founded, and in 1969, that association formally became an affiliate of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, by virtue of a vote by the governing council of the AAAS. Carl Jung himself had an abiding interest in parapsychological phenomena. Jung's doctoral dissertation, published in 1903, was titled On the Psychology and Pathology of So-Called Occult Phenomena. He corresponded with J.B. Rhine, and in his classic essay on synchronicity, he repeatedly referred to Rhine's parapsychology experiments and how important they were. In fact, in a private communication to Rhine on September 3, 1951, Jung confessed that his essay on synchronicity, presented to the Iranos Foundation that year, was largely based on your ESP experiment. For his part, Rhine was hesitant to embrace an acausal model of psi. Research, such as the sheep-goat effect in parapsychology, suggested that psi operated in a manner consistent with known psychological variables. In particular, it was influenced by belief systems. Nevertheless, some parapsychologists had more than a passing interest in Jung's hypothesis. In spite of the fact that hundreds of well-conducted empirical experiments had demonstrated the existence of psi, the Rhinean model of extrasensory perception encountered serious difficulties. No biological organ appeared to be associated with extrasensory perception, nor has anyone discovered a channel of information transmission that could account for the many highly accurate and detailed accounts produced in clairvoyant research. Some parapsychologists, such as John Palmer in his 1979 presidential address to the Parapsychological Association, have seriously proposed that the Jungian model of synchronicity may be a better fit for the data than the Rhinean notion of extrasensory perception. J.B. Rhine himself understood this dilemma. In 1965, when he left his position at Duke University, Rhine founded a new organization in Durham, North Carolina, that he called the Foundation for Research on the Nature of Man. That organization is currently known as the Rhine Research Center. I understand that he chose this name because he realized that the data he and his colleagues had been collecting for decades could not be adequately explained from within the prevalent materialistic paradigm. The phrase research on the nature of man was meant to imply that empirical studies of parapsychology pointed to something about human nature that was essentially different than the common scientific supposition. Of course, it is no secret that, in spite of its many contributions to human understanding, parapsychology remains a fringe science. I know this in my bones, having earned a unique interdisciplinary doctoral diploma from the University of California, Berkeley, 1980, that actually states my field of study as parapsychology. To my knowledge, no other accredited university in the world has ever issued such a diploma, either before or since. I do not wish to make too much of my lonely distinction. After all, there are about 400 members of the Parapsychological Association today. Many of them have earned doctoral degrees in psychology or philosophy for dissertations on parapsychological topics. Yet almost all of these individuals have shared personal stories regarding prejudicial treatment they have received because of their interest in the paranormal. For example,